Hello, everyone. Welcome to Everything Arsenal. Let's get to the latest transfer news and the latest news updates from Arsenal the last couple of days, yesterday and also today. A lot of news to talk about. And let's start with Victor Osimhen. Now, just to make it clear, this is one player that I've never really expected him to join Arsenal. Listen, he might still join Arsenal. Who knows? He might have made the decision to choose Arsenal. Who knows? But this is the news that is coming out from himself, Osimhen himself. According to Fabrizio Romano breaking, this is according to Victor Osimhen, I have already made my decision on the next step to do at the end of the season. I already made up my mind. I already have my plan. I know what I want to do, the next step I want to take. So he told CBS that. Now, who knows? That could be a lot of things. The decision could be, listen, I'm going to stay until the end of the season, but I'm actually going to extend my contract once again at Napoli. Obviously, recently just extended the contract. He might decide to stay at Napoli for another 4 or 5 years. Who knows? The team could be Chelsea. He could have maybe decided to go to Chelsea. It could be Arsenal. Who knows? All those teams have wanted him. The money has always been a thing to worry about. Now, we are used to Arsenal not being able to pay that kind of money. But recently, since we've been able to pay almost 70 million for Havertz, 105 million for Rice, maybe things have changed. Maybe we are now in that kind of market. I actually think we are now in that kind of market in terms of competing with Man City for players, competing with Bayern for players. I mean, we've been able to beat Man City to players, we've been able to beat Bayern to players. So in terms of that, we are able to compete. But in terms of the money, I don't think we've ever been able to reach 120 million, 30 million. To be honest, to be fair to Arsenal, it's only really changed to that recently into 120 million, 130 million. But you've always paid 50 and 60s for Aubameyangs and for players like Lacazette. But 120 to 150, that would be a huge stretch. That would be a huge surprise if he actually ended up getting Osimhen. But he's made his decision. And then for me, what I actually think his decision is, I have a feeling that he might end up joining Real Madrid. I do not know why, but I just have this feeling listen, Real Madrid don't really have a striker apart from Joselu. If they tempt this guy to go there and play with Vinicius and Rodrigo and Bellingham, maybe that means Mbappe doesn't go there. Who knows? We don't know. Until the summer transfer window, it's going to be another huge summer transfer window. There are going to be a lot of big movements. But according to him, he's made his decision. He already knows what he's going to do. Now, the only hope that we have is, remember when we were linked to Declan Rice? There's a part of me that was 100% convinced that you're going to get Declan Rice because you had been told, listen, this guy's already talked to Arteta, he's already talked to Edu, he's convinced that he's going to join Arsenal, everything is done. Even if whichever team that wants him right now is still going to join Arsenal. Now, if Arteta and Edu actually approach a player and they discuss with him and they actually accept Arsenal, in terms of that, I usually give the benefit of the doubt to the manager and the sporting director. I know that they're going to get it done. But I've never felt like Arteta really wants Osimhen to that level. I feel like he prefers other strikers to Osimhen. There's 2 or 3 other strikers that Arteta might prefer to Victor Osimhen. But this is one to keep an eye on. But the latest news today is that he said that he's made his decision. He's currently at the AFCON. They've gone through, so I think his focus is on the AFCON. But let's see what that one happens. But it's definitely not going to happen in January. I don't think he's going to leave Napoli in January. The money would be too much for anyone, for sure. What about Karim Benzema? Man, we were linked to this guy when I was still in school. We're still linked to this guy to this date. My goodness, Karim Benzema, still latest on him. According to Sammy Mokbel, Arsenal, who were offered Karim Benzema earlier this month, have considered moving for a versatile defender before next week's deadline and remain open to doing so. So we were offered Karim Benzema. I've seen a lot of Arsenal fans were like, well, we offered Karim Benzema, you're not going to get him. It depends on how the deal, the entire deal is structured. Yes, his team could offer Karim Benzema to us. Al Ittihad could offer Benzema to us. But will Benzema offer himself to us? Does he first want to play for Arsenal? Number 2, does he want to come to England? Number 3, does he want to take a pay cut? A lot of people have assumed that he's going to take a pay cut. He's being paid 1 million plus per week. We've never crossed anywhere past 350,000. There's no Premier League team that can pay anyone 1 million per week. If you pay him 1 million per week, I mean, would I take Benzema today for 4 months? For sure, 100%. Signing him, maybe not. His age does not allow that. But what if they told us, listen, we're going to take Benzema right now, yes, for 4 months. We're going to pay him 1 million a week, but that is going to affect our summer transfer window. Maybe you're not going to be able to buy this particular player, or maybe you're not going to be able to extend the contract to our Tomiyasu or Ben White or something like that. Would I really be want that? I'm not sure, because this is a guy who's going to come there for 3 or 4 months. I've never been a fan of loan deals, especially 3 or 4 months. Benzema is a different case, but even if you look at the big strikers like Higuain going to Chelsea for 3-4 months never works. Like those kind of deals, they never work. But for in our situation where we need a striker to just score goals for us, and he's a guy who's Champions League experience, and he's a guy who's going to help us like get through in the Champions League and stuff. He's a guy who's won the Champions League a lot of times. I would definitely take him. But I'm hoping. Listen, there's still a full week to go in the transfer window, like 8 days. So let's see if anything gathers from that, gather space from that. It looks like he's definitely going to leave his team. Looks like he's definitely going to leave Al-Ittihad, whether it's on loan or a permanent deal. But let's see what happens. Let's see what happens after that. Will he join Arsenal? Will he join Chelsea? Will he end up staying in Saudi Arabia? Maybe going to Bayern Munich or something? Very, very difficult to know. Now, most of the teams in the Premier League and La Liga, Serie A, most of the teams that would be competing for strikers with us, most of them already have strikers, like a Man City. They already have Haaland. United bought a striker recently, Højlund. Chelsea bought a striker recently, but they definitely still need a striker. For us, we've never really bought a lot of strikers. It's only like Jesus recently. We've never really bought a lot of strikers. So in that market, in that striker market, we could be competing with the Real Madrid. Madrid could want him back for a couple of months. We could be competing with, maybe not a Bayern Munich, because we already bought Kane recently. But let's wait and see what happens with that. Let me know. Would you take Karim Benzema, even if it means you're going to pay him 1 million a week and it's going to affect our next transfer window? Let me know in the comment section. Next up, let's talk about Zubimendi. What's the latest on Zubimendi? According to reports, Martin Zubimendi is very close to accepting Arsenal's transfer offer next summer. Barcelona have begun looking for other options in midfield. So this is one that is definitely very, very realistic. We'll be linked to him for, I think 2 transfer windows now. It's not going to cost like 100 or 150 million like the other, like the strikers that we're being linked to. It's one that we definitely can afford. Now, obviously, first up, I do feel like Thomas Partey will not be here next season. That's first. This season, he will be there, but next season, I'm not sure he's going to be there. Jurrien is another one who's approaching. I was thinking maybe he could be at Arsenal for 6 months or an extra. I actually do think Jurrien has been great for us since he joined us. Most of the games, especially this season, 80% of the times he's been really good. So not like really good, but I'd say 30% of the games it's been really good, and 80% of the games it's been, good. It's not been like bad or, oh my goodness, Jurrien is playing. Nothing like that. So there's a chance that both of them might not be here next season. There's a chance that at least one of them will not be here next season, which will mean we'll need a midfielder. And Zubimendi is a defensive midfielder. I think that is something that we could do the next season. I think we'll probably play Declan Rice as a number 8 permanently and have Zubimendi as a number 6 on a permanent basis, or whoever you're going to get in the number 6 position. That would mean moving Declan Rice to the number 8 like permanently. And then I don't know after that how that will affect the likes of Havertz and Fabio Vieira and all the other players. But that's the latest on Zubimendi. In terms of news, but in terms of the qualities it brings at Arsenal, let me show you something that is from Who Scored on Zubimendi. Now, he has won position in the midfield third more times, 197 than any other player since the start of the 2022-2023 La Liga season. So in terms of interceptions and winning position in midfield, he is pretty good. So that is exactly what you want in midfield. If we have someone like that and a Declan Rice in midfield who has pretty much the same qualities and can also carry the ball forward, and Zubimendi is very good in terms of long balls and through balls and all that, I think mixing up those qualities in midfield would be great for us. And who knows, if you have these two and then Partey somehow stays for another season, then you pretty much have your midfield covered. But this is one that is very realistic. This is one I can definitely see us doing at the end of the season. And whenever you hear Arsenal talking to a player for like a long time, like a Rice and players like that, usually we end up getting him. So let's see. And plus the fact that he's also coming from Spain and all that, I think it would be easier for Arteta to get it done. So Zubimendi, let's keep an eye on that one. But it looks like we are advancing in terms of that deal, and we should be getting at the end of the season. Nuno Tavares. What's the latest on Nuno Tavares? According to Fabrice, I understand that Marseille are still trying to sign Tavares as a new left back. He was there actually last season. Arsenal are 100% open to selling Nuno to Olympique Marseille now on a permanent transfer. But deal depends on Nottingham Forest as they insist to keep Nuno until June, as there's no recall clause. So I think for now the best thing to do is to sell him, get that money. But we had an agreement for Nottingham to keep him until the end of the season. So if they don't want to let him go, there's nothing we can do about it. We have to wait until the end of the season and then potentially sell him to Marseille. And a lot of things can change between now and then. Marseille might get another option. Tavares might decide to stay at Nottingham Forest. Who knows? It's a bit complicated, but for me, I can't really see Tavares like recovering his Arsenal career and all of a sudden like starting to play games at Arsenal. I can't see it. So whichever money that we can get. The thing I said about Tavares and Lokonga the first time we signed them, I was like, listen, they're young players. The previous transfer windows, you had signed players like Willian, who, if he doesn't work out, you can't sell him because he's already like 40 years of age. But players like Tavares and Lokonga, if it doesn't work out like it hasn't, you can always sell them and hopefully get at least the same money that you paid for them. Hopefully we can be able to gather the same. So I can't really see him. Since the day he was subbed, like in the first half, I can't really see him recovering his Arsenal career at all. There's a time Tavares had a lot of chances to play when Tierney was injured. There's a time that Lokonga had a lot of chances to play when Partey was injured. I don't think any of them really took it. Someone who took his chance after Partey got injured, not necessarily, but he's playing that Partey position, is Declan Rice, and we have good news on Declan Rice. He's expected to be available for Arsenal's next match against Nottingham Forest after injury concerns were sparked as he limped off against Crystal Palace. This, according to Sammy Mokbel. I was very concerned when I heard that he was saying something about the hamstring. I was like, not now, not when you're going to play Liverpool and FC Port in the Champions League very, very soon. If he's not 100%, I know you cannot underestimate any Premier League team, but we have Nottingham and then Liverpool that weekend. If Rice is not 100%, I'd not like to lose him for the Liverpool game. And I feel like Jorginho can do the job. That midfield against Nottingham Forest. Again, we're not underestimating Nottingham Forest. That is a team that usually beats us for some reason at their place in the FA Cup, in the Premier League. But Partey is also back for that game. So if it means Partey starts and he rests Declan Rice for that one, I'd be happy to do that. But Nakel is not a serious injury. He's a player that has always been fit at West Ham. So hopefully can keep on going at Arsenal. Really, really happy to hear the good news on Declan Rice. That is a player we definitely need him to be in the team. He's been absolutely incredible. Like the interceptions in midfield, the tackles. I think he has made the most progressive passes in the Premier League as well. His man of the match performances against Chelsea, against Man City, against Man United. He's been incredible. Yes, he's had a couple of bad games, especially the ones against West Ham, but he never really drops down under 7 out of 10. And most of his performances, like 80% of the games, have been 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10, which is absolutely crazy. I think I've even given him 10 twice this season, which is absolutely incredible. So Declan Rice, he will be okay, and we might be close to seeing that Partey, Rice, and Odegaard midfield that everyone has been dreaming of. Are we close to seeing that difference that everyone has been dreaming of? Well, according to news on Jurrien Timber, there is further positive news on the injury front amid optimism. Long-term absentee. Have I read that right? There is further positive news on the injury front amid optimism. A long-term absentee, Jurrien Timber, can return to full training next month. That would be great news. We want to stay in the title race. We want to stay in the Champions League up until like April, May. So that will allow us to get players like Tomiyasu back, players like Partey back, players like Jurrien Timber back, and then we will really see where we are. If we reach the Champions League quarterfinal and we have Saliba available, Gabriel available, Timber is there, Tomiyasu is there, Zinchenko is there, White is there, Partey is there, Rice is there, we'd be able to really test where we are. We'll be like, okay, since every one of these players is fit, so we can actually end up beating a team 4-0, 6-0 regularly, that's great. So it's a player that we've really missed. Yes, he's never really played even a half for Arsenal in the Premier League, but you saw the impact that he had in the Community Shield against Man City, the game in the Emirates Cup against Sevilla. Was it Sevilla? Monaco. It was Monaco. Sevilla was the previous year. Against Monaco, he was really good in those games, and he was playing as a left back. We signed him as a right back. We signed him as a centre back who can play as a right back, but he was playing as a left back. So that's another player who can play in numerous positions. And I'm guessing the reason why I've been playing Zinchenko in the big games is mainly because Tomiyasu and Timber have not been there. I feel like Zinchenko would have been playing there, the not the easier games, but the games that would be dominating possession, not the tough games like away from home. But now we've been basically forced to play Zinchenko in most of these games. But if Timber comes back, that would be a huge boost for us. That is a player that I cannot wait to see playing for us regularly in the Premier League. Again, it would be like a new signing. Let's see how that one goes.